You are listening to In Between Sales Calls with Derek Shebby, episode 2. Welcome, everyone. Really appreciate you being here with me today. It's going to be an amazing episode, so let's get right after it. The other day, I had a sales rep come up and ask me, "Hey, Derek, when should I be worried in sales?" And this is a great question, actually, because in our profession, we don't have warning flags in your face when you're screwing something up. I mean, there's not always someone pulling you into the office telling you it's time to fix something or you're going to be in big trouble and not make any money. If you don't have that person managing or coaching you, then you're most likely on your own. You know, trying to get business, put food on the table, money in your bank. You're 100% in charge of your own destiny. And I'm going to approach this question about when you should be worried in sales. I'm going to approach this question as if you're someone who's not merely an order taker. You are charged with outreach, prospecting, hunting for new business. Your destiny is in your hands. And the days of you just answering the phone with the deal happening on the other end like those order takers are few and far between. Of course, we like it when they come in. Anyone does, but it just doesn't happen as often as we'd like. You have to find the opportunities and then you need to make it happen. So back to the main question. When should you be worried in sales? My answer is pretty simple. It took me 17 years of business-to-business experience to figure this all out, but I've narrowed everything down to 4 main activities that will directly result in your success. That's it, 4. I'm talking about having great days, great months, and great years filled with commissions. That's what these 4 main activities are going to help you do. I've seen this so many times with sales reps and sales managers that when I dove in and helped them by adding these 4 critical activities, they got back on track to success. I'm going to give you what these 4 activities are that you should be doing every single day, and at least one of them every single day. And if you're not doing these 4 things, you should be worried. I'm not going to tell you anything cliche like you should be closing deals, because that's stupid. I'm going to tell you what these things are. And you know what? If you do them, you're never going to have to worry about your future in sales. So these 4 critical activities I recommend you write down. The first one that you should be doing, you probably guessed it, is prospecting. You know what Alec Baldwin says over and over in the movie Glengarry Glen Ross? He says, always be closing, always be closing. Have you ever heard that saying? It's a really famous statement, actually, always be closing, but it's actually wrong. Did you know that? Well, it was right back in the day, back when you needed to be that slimy, cutthroat salesperson to get deals, and that's how things were, but it doesn't work in today's modern day world. You can't do that now. But now what's so critical is prospecting. And that statement should have been always be prospecting. That's what it should be. Because if you're prospecting and you're always looking ahead to new business, you're always trying to find that, then as a result, you're always going to have a full sales funnel and a healthy stream of commissions coming in. Now, here's where people make a mistake, though, with prospecting. And this is where people just don't do it right. They prospect the wrong ways. Now, this is what I mean by this. What are the wrong ways? In my 17 years, I'd say that there's so many more things out today to distract us than ever have been, ever. So many things. And also things out there that may seem on the surface like they could be a good prospecting idea, but they're just really not. In fact, they're a huge waste of time. My number one distraction that I've witnessed be the downfall of many, many sales reps and sales professionals is LinkedIn. And I'm speaking specifically about business-to-business salespeople, because that's a mecca, a hangout for business-to-business salespeople. But LinkedIn is a place where you feel like you're getting stuff done if you're on there. And you're looking up contacts and you're researching things going on in the industry, and you're sending your contacts little messages and such. But the fact of the matter is, it's not scary to go on LinkedIn and look for people and send them messages. It's not scary to send people emails. It's not scary to comment all these posts that you see that are relevant and hope to get thumbs up from people. That's not scary. You know what is scary? Cold calling over the phone, cold calling in person, going door to door, walking right past that no soliciting sign and walking right in looking for your contact. And you know what? That's still the most effective way to prospect. That way and prospecting over the phone, because you can reach your contact live right away. And that's what you want. You want the chance to sell your products and services, and you need to speak to a human being in order to do that. The second activity that you should be doing all the time is really the result of prospecting, and that's going on appointments. Not the same customer every single day of the week. You can't count that one appointment 5 times. I mean, you could if you're not successful. Successful sales reps count that as one active sales cycle they're working and plan on working on it as many times as it takes until they close it, or at least close for next step. But they know that that one company only counts as one prospect that they're working on, and that they need more sales cycles working. The trick to looking at new sales cycles working is how many first appointments you have or how many new client meetings you have. Same sort of thing. So you got to ask yourself, how many new client meetings or appointments am I getting? How many am I going on every single day, every week? Because if you're not going on enough appointments, you got to go back to prospecting, right? The third sales activity that you need to be doing every single day and every single week is you need to be giving out proposals, presenting proposals. Okay, let's talk about proposals for a second here. I see a lot of salespeople make mistakes with the term proposals. You should at least present one proposal per day, or I recommend figuring out what those metrics are for your industry. It could be more. And I'm talking about presenting a proposal. That does not mean working on a proposal. You should be working on proposals before hours and after hours. I hear it so many times, sales reps, I ask them what they did today. They said, I spent the whole day working on this proposal, but it's going to be really great. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this person's just not going to make it. You have got to realize that proposals are worked on before hours and after hours. That's before 8 o'clock and after 5 p.m. Because those 8 to 5 time frames are prime business hours to be prospecting and meeting with customers, right? Meeting with clients. If you're wasting the day by doing a proposal, by actually doing the administrative work during the day, you should be worried. You should be. Because after that one deal hopefully comes in, you're so far behind on prospecting the rest of your month. And most likely the next month is going to be awful too. You're not going to have anything to work on because you got that one deal. And because you're not spending time on the other critical activities that you're supposed to be doing, you're not prospecting, you're not meeting new clients. That's all going to catch up to you eventually. You'll see in the months ahead that you'll have no prospects to work on. And you wished you would have used your time more wisely. So proposals are extremely important because you need to present proposals in order to get deals. You're probably sitting there thinking, I know, Derek, you're not telling me anything I don't know right now. I mean, of course, you got to present a proposal to get a deal. I realize I'm not saying anything new, but what's most important for you to think about your day today or your days last week is how well are you recognizing the fact that you could be spending too much time doing proposals in the office. I mean, look, if you look back on it and say, I spent 1 minute doing a proposal during business hours, 8 to 5, you need to stop and think, I spent time during the day doing that because I let myself off the hook from trying to get that other meeting. I let myself off the hook because I wasn't prepared for my day. And as a result, you felt good because you were working on a proposal that could make you some money, but you were working on it during the day, and you should be worried because it will catch up to you, like I said, and you're not going to feel good about it in the long run. You got to do those things at different times. The fourth thing that you should be doing is implementations. What do I mean by implementations? Well, after you sell something, after you get a deal, whether it's your product, your service, whatever it is that you sell, you must make it a priority to follow up with your customer. Go see them, call them, make a personal connection to make sure that they're happy with whatever it is that you sold them. Because when people are happy, they're always open to looking at buying new things from you because they got that, they associate this great product or service with you. So you've got to make sure that you follow through. So that image of your face, your smiling face, following up, just making sure they're happy doesn't leave them. So many salespeople don't follow up. They sell something and then they don't show up afterwards. They're literally waiting until the next time the customer is open to buying something. Can you think about any of that with the deals that you might be working on or accounts that you've sold in the past? When's the last time you followed up just to see if they're happy and you wanted to make sure that you're right there in front of them and they're associating this great experience with you? Because at those moments, those are the best times to talk about referrals. And I'll go into the best way to ask for referrals on a later episode, but I want you to think about that. It's a never-ending cycle. Consider Apple and Apple's products. How many of them do you have? I mean, you could be someone that has a lot of Apple products, you could be someone that has a lot of Google products, but typically you don't just have one. I've got an iMac that I'm speaking into, and I have an iPhone, I've got an iPad, I've got a MacBook Air, I've got all of them. What would have happened if Apple just stopped talking to me in the way that they were communicating with me, obviously like an advertising, after I bought the first thing? They would have missed out on all the other business that I did with them. I mean, is that the same for you? Have you thought about it? You have to be thinking about your customers with the same sort of dedication, because when you follow up with them in these implementations, once you stay present and follow up and make sure that they're constantly happy, they're going to be thinking about you. And when you ask for referrals, they're going to have some for you. Okay, so let's reflect on the 4 things that I mentioned. Prospecting, client meetings, first appointments, that's also with client meetings, proposals and implementations. So it's time for your homework, because you aren't listening to this in between your sales calls just for entertainment, right? That's what YouTube's for. You're listening to this because you want to make more money and learn how to become a top sales professional in this modern age. So here's your action items. Get your pen ready. We're building another success habit today. And this is what I want you to do. Obviously, be present of wherever it is that you are. Let's say this could be any day of the week, any day of the month. But I want you to add into your success habits that on Sundays, you prepare for a successful week using the 4 critical activities I talked about earlier. Because you don't want to be worried about where you are now, and you don't want to be worried about where you're going to be this month and the next month, the month after that. This is what you need to do. You got to look at your calendar, look at that upcoming week, and you got to ask yourself the first question. Do I have any implementation meetings scheduled? Follow-up meetings, making sure that people like your products and service. Who are the customers that you can follow up with if you don't have them any done right now? When can you do this? Sometimes people spend the entire day following up with a customer just for the implementation, just to make sure everything's going okay. I do not recommend that. Just do it enough where you're showing your face and making sure that they're happy. And if they're happy, you can follow up with them and secure something in the future as well. But just enough time to make sure that happens. The next thing you should look at, once you looked at your implementations and scheduled them, if you haven't already done it, is you should look at what proposals that you have planned in your schedule to present live to your clients. So what days are they? A lot of times the proposals, salespeople just kind of leave it open. Oh, I'll make sure I contact you next week and I'll present the proposal. And people are like, okay, hopefully you scheduled the time. If you haven't scheduled it, you should probably schedule it. But what days, if you're looking forward in the calendar, what days are these things scheduled for you? And which ones aren't? That's the second activity you look at. So you look at the implementation scheduled, then you look at the proposals that you have scheduled to present. We're going backwards here if you haven't guessed. So you know what the next one is? You're right. It's first appointments. It's first appointments, Derek. I can hear you say it right now. So how many first appointments do you have scheduled? How many client meetings do you have scheduled? Hopefully it's one client per week. One specific client. You're not doubling up those meetings. But do you have a lot of appointments scheduled for the week? Do you have a few appointments scheduled for the week? Well, if you don't have many appointments, it doesn't matter, because if you have any free time whatsoever throughout the week, you should be doing one thing. And what do you think that is? Prospecting. That's right. Pat yourself on the back if you said prospecting. And when we're prospecting the important ways, the ways that are the most effective. And that's cold calling over the phone, cold calling in person. Those are the most effective ways to prospect. And remember, most people don't do it right, so don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself by saying, I'm going to spend half my day prospecting on LinkedIn, liking people's posts and trying to send messages, because that's just not effective. It might work in your strategy if you have qualified prospects already, and that's just part of your system. But if you're going out there finding prospects cold, you got to remember the best thing you could possibly do is to talk to another human being. That's got to be the best. You got to make sure you're prospecting in ways that scare you, because those get the biggest rewards. If you can prospect in person, cold call, that's a great way. If you can do it over phone, so I recommend doing that too. So to recap, when is the only time you should be worried in sales? Answer: when you aren't doing one or all of the 4 critical activities every single day. A lot of my Rising Star students tell me that they listen to my coaching sessions several times to really absorb the tips. Well, this is one of those episodes. Save it. I recommend you save it so you can come back to this. If you ever feel like you're struggling in your sales career, if you're losing focus, you're getting frustrated, and you're not sure if you're doing the right things, just come back to this episode. The same thing goes for anyone else that you may know that might be having challenges in sales. Send them a link and help them, because we can all become top sales professionals. All it takes sometimes is just a few minutes in between sales calls to get refocused. So that's it for episode number 2, everybody. Thank you for giving me the chance to join you on your sales journey. See you next time. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, then you have to come check out my free 5-day sales training course of my proven Sales in 21 Days program. I designed it to help you make more money in sales. Whether you're looking for a fast start or just looking to sharpen your skills, you can't afford to miss it. Come get free access today over at www.salesin21days.com. That's www.salesin21days.com. I'd love to have you join the program. See you there.